Hey, I'm Landon. I'm with Worship Artistry, and I'm here to give you some tips on playing keys for worship. Tip number one is for when the band is vamping on one chord. So a lot of time in worship music, there will be just like open periods where not a lot is happening, and there's a lot of freedom. So a good example is I Thank God, where it goes to the beat, and then it does a little. So it's just 1, 5, 1, 5, 1. So that's a good example of filling that space, but then there might be other songs, like let's say you're playing I Trust in God, where it goes. Okay, so say, we just finished the chorus to I Thank God, and then we're just hanging on that 4. So one thing I like to do is we're just waiting here. I'll throw a different chord in. So say I just go up with my right hand to the 5, and then I can play around with those chord notes, and even like the notes in between them, like, and then maybe go back to just the regular 4, and then I could do the 1 also over the 4. Just creates this nice movement, and then just gives some nice space until you go back to the 1. All right, here's step 2. So this one is if you don't know the song very well. I've had this where there's a new song and I just don't really know what to play. So I'd say the biggest tip is just listen to the song as much as you can, get it nailed down in your head, and then try to find key instrumental parts. A lot of these instrumental parts, other band members will end up playing, most likely. And some of these key instrumental parts are a lot of them are in intros. All right, so say we're playing I Speak Jesus. Bear with me, the sustain pedal is struggling here. So we start on A, and then it has this little. There it is again. There we go. So it's just the little melody parts that just kind of stand out. So that one's kind of obvious to me, at least, just because I hear it and that's like all that's in the start, you know? But then there's other songs where they're not as noticeable. So a big tip I have is if you have access to something like Worship Artistry, you can actually go in and then solo the keys part and listen to exactly what they play. And then you don't have to memorize everything. A lot of the times what the keys player will do is they'll play a chord and then they'll just be like hammering the bass notes. So like don't memorize that. You can do that on your own. But a lot of the time they'll slip in something nice. Like one example is the song What a God. They go, this is like the second verse. It's real subtle because it just sounds like they're playing the chords, but then they slip in a little, super little, not super noticeable, but like it just adds a little spice, you know? So just tiny little things like that, little, like people probably aren't gonna notice, but like it enhances the song a little. Another part where it goes. Just towards the end of that verse, which is just gorgeous. So here's some practical advice for listening to music and finding those key points. A lot of the times, it'll just be a nice little melody thing the keys does that you can pick up on. Other times there isn't that. So you can really just follow the melody of the song. Like just copy what the vocals are doing, or like maybe echo them like they do something like. So maybe after I'll copy them, you know. I'm just making stuff up, but like, you know, just copy them. So that's kind of what I do. If it's not obvious what to play, I'll just copy the melody. So now we're going on to our next tip. Getting your toes stepped on. A lot of the time in worship, everybody has their own musical ideas, but the problem is they don't all work together. So let's say I had this idea. Hey, we're playing this cool song. We'll go. I'm gonna go. Or like but then the guitarist goes and just wrecks it all. He pulls out all his licks, he pulls out all his fun little things out of his toolbox, and then I can't do that anymore because then they're gonna clash, and he's basically already doing what I'm doing, but like not as good, obviously. So if that happens, this is what I do. Ideally working around them, but that's easier said than done. So let's say he's going to town on the song. I'm just gonna serve the song. I'm gonna hold the chords down, right? So he's doing his crazy stuff up high, and he's, just Holy Spirit's just coursing through him, He's so cool, But I can't also be cool at the same time because he's in the spotlight right now. So I'll just, But maybe he's going a little less crazy, and I can, just slip in some nice little melody, something that's, use some notes that are in the key. I don't know, just whatever sounds nice to you. To kind of outline the chords. And now he's back, so I'll hold the chords again, I guess. But that's my advice for if somebody's stepping on your toes. Just get out of the way. And then afterwards, I'd say just go talk to them. You're a band, you're all working together. And I mean, this isn't even about the music, it's about worship. So, if somebody's stepping on your toes, it's not the end of the world. Just go talk to them. You can figure it out. You can maybe have them pull back a little. Be like, hey, I noticed that you're kind of going crazy on the song. I wanted to do this little melody thing, but I can't really anymore. Do you think we could compromise? So that's my advice. For this tip, it's to find fun rhythms. So oftentimes, a lot of churches will play with a click, which keeps musicians in time, which is good. But it can be tricky because all you hear is, and that doesn't give you a lot of creativity, and it can get you stuck to the click, which timing wise is good because then you're not playing out of time, but it can leave you just 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and you're like, I don't know what else to do. Where else can I go with this? So I don't know how to practically tell you to add rhythms in because that's kind of a tricky thing to learn. But my best advice for learning that would be to listen to a lot of different kinds of music. If you're only listening to one kind of music, you only really get like a certain kind of rhythm. But if you can broaden what you listen to and then maybe even just like turn Spotify on, attempt to play with different songs, try different things out, try to learn the chords, and then maybe just figure out what melody stuff they do. Because a lot of popular songs, they don't just stick to that. They do other things. So maybe you learn what they do, and then that can kind of push you out of your comfort zone in that way. All right, so yeah, let's look at Build My Life. So this one can be hard because you just get stuck in the... And I've done that before, and I've gotten stuck in that for sure. But instead, you could, after listening to songs and kind of pushing out of that, you can make it more interesting by just kind of just getting away from the click a little, or not getting away from it, but using it and having it guide you, like tempo wise, but then worrying less about landing on the, every single beat it gives you. So like I already said, learning this rhythm thing, I really learned it from, listening to a lot of music, trying to play with a lot of different kinds of music. But know that getting out of that, being stuck in like the 4/4 rhythm, it's hard. And it's not going to come overnight. It's going to take time. It'll take practice, but stick with it. I can confidently tell you that if you practice these things, your worship team will look at you and be like, dang, that person got a lot better at keys. They're implementing different musical ideas. They just sound way more confident, but overall, they will tell that you've been practicing and that you've gotten a whole lot better. Little bonus tip for you guys is don't worry too much about your gear. A lot of people strive to get that multi-$1,000 Nord and think as soon as they get that, that's going to take them to the next level. But my advice is just work with what you have. If you have a keyboard and it works, use it, get good on it, and sign up for Worship Artistry. Thank you for watching again. Subscribe to Worship Artistry. If you have any questions, leave a comment. But subscribe, hit that bell, and we'll see you in the next video.